Hi, I'm Kyle Russell with Arkansas Wushu. Let's go ahead and open up our class today. So to open up, put your right hand up by your ear, your left hand beside it. Step forward sideways with your right foot. Step forward with your left foot, sinking down into a cat stance, which just means all of your weight's on the back leg, all your toes are touching down on the front. Push both hands forward, grab, and pull back, bringing your fists to your waist. All right, so we're going to start off warming up a little bit. I told someone who had emailed me that I would focus today on beginner level stuff. So we're going to focus on yellow belt, probably of the Chuan Fa Kenpo system, which mixes in a little Hung Gar and stuff as it goes, some of the Chinese Kenpo. So before we begin, let's go ahead and get our joints a little bit limber. So we're going to start off with joint rotations. We're going to do our head to the left and back to the right 10 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's put our hands straight out. We're going to do small circles 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now we're going to do bigger circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to circle backwards 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're just loosening up the joints right now, getting kind of warmed up. So use a wall or something to balance. Lift your knee up. Hold your knee stable with your hand. And we're going to circle the foot 10 times in a clockwise direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side, same thing. So hand on the wall, keep your back straight, lift your knee up, grip your knee, 10 circles, clockwise direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, since we're already here against the wall, we're going to do a couple of exercises to learn one of our first basic kicks, which is the knife edge kick. Can also be called a side snap kick. We're going to do a couple of exercises leading up to it. So I want to start from here and just lift this leg up. As you do this kick, I want you to focus on lifting the big toe and keeping the heel pushed out rather than letting this just point upwards. We're going to try to push the heel out and keep the toe back that way. That way when we hit with the edge of the foot or the blade of the foot. All right. So we're just going to go up to about waist level 10 times. Use the wall to help you balance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. Same exercise. 1, 2. We don't want to use speed and momentum. We want to slowly lift it. 3, 4. Same on falling down. Don't let it just fall. 5. Keep control of it the entire time. 6. And one of the things you want to focus on is not letting your foot go forward or back. So if you have the mirror in front of you and you can see this foot, you probably need to move it so that this leg is hiding that leg until it's raised all the way. 6. Stays in line with it the whole time. 7. 8. 9. And 10. All right, so let's switch sides again. So we're going to go ahead and slowly throw that side kick, the whole kick 10 times. So go ahead and put your hand on the wall. We want to come up the knee and extend the leg out, just sort of like it's on a hinge, snapping out, hitting with the edge of the foot, and then coming back and setting down. So think of it in 4 parts. Part 1, you lift up the leg. Part 2, you hinge out, kick with the blade of the foot. Part 3, you bring it back to your knee. And part 4, you would set back down into your fighting stance. In this case, we're using the wall to balance, so we're just going to set down. Okay. 1, 2, 3. What you want to focus on here is when you kick out, don't lean back too much. Try to kind of crunch the side in, keep your spine more straight. That way it keeps your center of gravity over or centered over your foot. And that's how you're going to maintain your balance whenever you kick. Okay. 5. And again, throw the kick nice and slow. 6. Try to keep in line with the shoulders and the hip. 7. 8. 9. And 10. All right, let's switch sides. I'm doing the same kick. Just doing a side kick slowly, hand against the wall. Nice, slow and controlled. Make sure to kick that heel out to hit with the edge of the foot. Lift the toe or lift the thumb as they call it. And then come back and bring it down. All right. 1. 2. 3. Focus on getting that spine straighter and straighter and try to stay in line with that leg. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. and 10. Okay, so that's basically the knife edge kick or the side kick. Let's go ahead and learn horse stance if you don't know it already. I'm going to do the Southern Kung Fu version of it. Whenever you do karate, stances tend to be a little higher. They may be more parallel. But whenever you do it in a Southern style, the heels are kicked out a little more. So Wing Chun has a great way that they do that, and how we're going to get into that stance is start just with your heels together, go up on your toes, and bring your heels out as far as you can. Rock back on your heels, bring your toes out as far as you can, and then one more time, kicking those heels out, and then sit down like you're sitting on a horse. All right. So normally we would want to go down until our legs were parallel to the floor. In a more Southern style Kung Fu, Wing Chun uses higher stances, but Choi Foot and Hung Gar both use these lower stances. We're going to come up a little bit because it's going to be more practical for switching into this kick. If we go down deeper, there's going to be a lot more shifting of the weight and adjusting to make our opponent more likely to block. So we're going to be doing the stance fairly narrow up here so that we can get that leg up real quick. Okay. So we're doing the same kick along with this stance. Let's actually go ahead and do the stance first. Let's hold it for 15 seconds deep, and then we'll come back and do that kick 10 times on each side to work on the balance section of it. All right, so start heels together. 1, 2, 3. Bend down into your sit stance or into your horse stance. And go and put your hands out. We'll go 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And not too bad. All right. Let's go not quite as deep, but that same basic idea. And we're going to throw that kick. We'll do it in 4 parts to work on the bounce a little bit. So we're going to do 10 of them on a 4 count. So in here, 1, bring this leg up. I like to rest my toe on the inside of my knee or on the back of my calf, where you can rest it real quick. Plus, you can kind of point your knee there. Make sure your heel's still in line with your shoulder. On 2, you're going to extend the leg out and hold it there until you hear 3. So give us a little bit of practice on the balance section. So we don't want to kick real high because we may stay out there for a second, we may not. And then on 3, of course, we just retract it. And then on 4, we set back down into that stance. All right. So let's go ahead and begin. Horse stance. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That was 1. 2. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You notice that first movement seems to be the hardest to keep your balance on. And 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 7. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 9. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, before we move on, one trick to kind of help you if moving this way is giving you too much momentum in rocking. You can also just drag the foot to the side and up. That keeps you from having too much sideways momentum because there's a little bit of friction stopping that sideways momentum until it starts going in upward direction. Okay? And 10. Oops, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, rest that a little bit. Shake that out, and we'll do the other side. Same kick. So we'll go horse stance. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1, 2. Let's hold that there for just a second, just for the practice. Make sure everything's still in line. 3 and 4. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So let's go ahead and learn the front snap kick as well. So we did the side snap kick and one more stance. We're going to learn, we'll do the couple of stances actually. Let's go start from the horse stance. From the horse stance, we also have what we call a side horse stance. And all that means is it's the horse stance sideways. So if you hear horse stance left facing or side horse stance left facing, side horse stance right facing, means you're in a horse stance sideways, left side facing the body. Or horse stance sideways, right side facing your opponent or your coach. So if we take our horse stance and we go to side horse, or side horse left facing in my case, if you mirror, you'll probably be side horse right facing. We can take a small step forward. And this is a more comfortable fighting stance. This one I like, and it's called a modified fighting stance. When you bring your hands up, that's side fighting horse, right? We're sideways, we're fighting. Modified side fighting horse, step out a little bit. So let's cover that on both sides. Just go over it a couple of times so that you get that much of it. So we start off horse stance. Legs about twice the length of shoulders. I like the heels kicked out. Some styles do teach the toes more out or straight forward. So I'm not going to be too particular on that. Bend your knees down like you're sitting on a horse. Preferably as deep down as you can go. Side horse, same thing, sideways. Side fighting horse, side modified fighting horse. Let's come back up. Do it on the other side. Horse stance, side horse stance, right facing. Side fighting horse, modified side fighting horse. All right. So from here, we got one more. Soft bow. Just turn your knee in. Weight's about 50-50. You're more relaxed here. You can jump in, you can jump out, you can box, you can kick. Both knees are just comfortably bent with a forward focus on the stance. So if we go horse stance, side horse, modified side horse, soft bow, now we're ready to learn this next kick. And this is just the front snap kick. So the front snap kick, we're going to lift the knee up, extend the leg out, bring it back, and set it down. We want to start off low, as if we're kicking the burling. So when we do that, we don't want to have our toes facing up because we may hit or jam our toes or break them. So we face our toes down so that we hit with the instep of the foot. And that way we don't break those small bones. Hit something bigger like the ankle bone. Okay? So we're just going to throw this one 10 times. Remember, bring the knee up, snap it out, set down. On this one, let's focus on staying, going back to that bow stance each time, not just coming up to a lazy stance, and not letting those hands drop. You don't want to let those hands come down. You want to keep them up in guard the whole time. All right, so 10 snap kicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to bring that knee up high. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, other side. So the reason you want to bring that knee up high, right? So wherever that knee points is where that kick's going to land. So to get power, we don't want it to stop on the target. We want it to go past the target. So by bringing that knee a little bit higher up, it's going to catch on that kick sooner, and you're not going to be at the very end of your power. You're going to have a little follow through in your kick. It's going to have more pushback. Okay. Same thing, left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so we're going to do the same kick, but a little bit higher. So we're aiming for the solar plexus or the chest. What you want to do is pull your toes back and try to hit with the ball of the foot, which is just that big lump right under your toes. So again, lift your knee up high. You may want to coil that tight. Some people think a tighter coil makes it more like a spring. Springs out a little faster. And then back down. So we're throwing 10. Try to throw it at your solar plexus. And focus on hitting with the ball of the foot. So this time, toes aren't going to be pointed down. You may actually pull them back a little bit as you kick. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch sides. Same kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Grab a drink of water if you need to. We've done 2 kicks and 2 stances. A couple more stances, but 2 kicks. So next we're going to learn some blocks. Traditionally, blocks are taught individually. But in Chuan Fa or Kenpo, first form is star blocks. And that form happens to consist of basically all the basic blocks needed for yellow belt. So we're just going to go straight into that form. So we only need one stance for it, which is the horse stance. We've already learned it. So we start touching the fist to the palm and stepping out into horse stance. And let's go ahead and practice just that 3 times, getting that horse stance nice and low, because the lower you can maintain that horse stance throughout this drill, the more power you're going to have in your legs and the more flexibility overall, and it's going to really help you to be able to maintain those lower stances. If you can't do it, start high, but try to work your way down. Okay, so 1, fist, come out. I like to kick the heels out. I like to think of grabbing onto something and sitting down. And then you're in horse stance. Bring your fist back to your waist. Try to keep your head straight up. Think of like a string coming from the ceiling, keeping your head straight. And then come up. And you'll notice if you stay deep down in that stance, it doesn't take long before it starts to hurt and burn a little bit. All right? 2, 1, step out into horse stance and down as deep as you can tolerate. Just try to straighten your back and hold that position for a second. And come back. One more time. And 3. And back up. All right. So now I'm going to add a block. I may come up a little bit because I need to be able to talk while I train. And it's hard to do if you're trying to hold that maximum level. All right. So we're just going to do the first block, and we'll do it 3 times, and then we'll add it on the other side. But we'll go ahead and do it on both sides 3 times, and I'll show you how this works as we go. So when I open up, step into horse stance. Our first block is an upper block. Think of just doing an uppercut and turning it right at about the nose and come up a little over the head. Some people like to stop at the forehead, and some styles do allow for that. I personally prefer above the forehead because if it's an overhead strike, if you stop at the forehead, it's still going to hit you. If it's above your head, it's more likely to stop it. All right. Okay, so that's the block. And then we'll go ahead and come down, and we'll go ahead and do it on the other side. Okay, so let's do just that much 3 times. So 1, fist touches palm, step out, sink into horse stance, upper block. This won't be the next part of the form just yet, but we'll go ahead and do the other side. And come back up. Okay, 2, fist touches palm, step out into horse stance, upper block. Other side. And come back. And this one was called star blocks. Every form I've seen is pretty close, or every version I've seen is pretty close. There are some mild differences between different styles of Kenpo, because there's Shaolin Kenpo, Chuan Fa, Chinese Kenpo, Shaolin Kenpo, Tracy Kenpo, Ed Parker Kenpo, a bunch of different sects. There's different variations in all of them. This one comes from the Chinese Kenpo lineage that was passed down to me. We use the term Chuan Fa now because Chuan Fa means Kenpo, it's just in Chinese instead of Japanese. Okay, and 3. Upper block, other side, upper block. Okay, so go ahead and stay in your horse stance. So we're going to add the next movement of the form. After the upper block, we immediately go into inward block. An inward block, just think of coming from your ear a little bit past your nose. Just pushing almost like if you were to swat a fly with your fist closed, back of the fist facing the opponent. So we go from upward to inward. All right, let's go back to the beginning. 1, fist touches palm, step out. 1, upward block, inward block. Other side. Upward block, inward block, and back. 2, fist touches palm. 1, upper block, inward block. Other side. Upper block, inward block. And up. And 3. Right fist touches left palm. Step out right. Pull hands down to waist. Drop down into your horse stance. To an upper block, followed by an inward block. We'll go ahead and do the other side. Upper block, followed by an inward block. And then come back. All right, so that was 3. So now again, we're going to add to it. So after the inward block, we're going to do an outward block. There's actually 2 on it here. Is the outward block and the extended outward block. An outward block just goes the opposite direction. Usually it starts from lower or the hip. So I tell people think of picking something up to look at it, and that will give you your upper block motion. Outward block motion. The extended outward block is nothing more than pushing it a little further and turning the hand over to grab. And that's for if someone throws a punch and I block it, I may want to trap that hand, so I go on out and grab it. Right? So an extended outward block is just me bringing my hand out to grab and trap for the next movement. So from the upper block and the inward block, we'll go ahead and go past the regular outward block to the extended outward block, which is all the way out here until your palm faces forward. Because by that time, we should have grabbed the bicep or something. All right. So let's do that 3 times. 1, fist touches palm. Step out. 1, upper block. 2, inward block. 3, outward to extended outward block. Other side. Upward block. Inward block. Outward block to extended outward block. And come back up. 2, right fist touches left palm. Step out, kick the heels out, sit back into your horse stance. Pull the arms back. Straighten the spine, upward, inward, extended outward. Other side, upward, inward, extended outward. And come back. 1 more time. And 3. All right, so it's upward block, inward block, extended outward block, and then the other side. Upward block, inward block, outward block. All right, so the next movement we want to do, we just circle the hand around into a downward block. If you were coming from the shoulder, it would make a straight 45-degree line down, basically. But since we're here at the extended outward block, we're doing a small circle to get our power to come on down. So if I was here, think of it coming down. 1, 2, 1, right? Okay, so let's do that 3 times. Right fist touches left palm. Step out right, kick the heels out, sit back deep into a horse stance. Bring the hands back to the hip, straighten the spine. I like the chest out, stomach in, shoulders back, head straight. Upper block, inward block, extended outward block, downward block. Other side, same thing. Upward, and this is now just like the form. Inward, outward, and down. Because after you do it on one side, you do it on the other. That's the first part of start blocks. Those are your major blocks right there. There are a few more in this form. We may skip over those, but let's go ahead and do the next 2. 2. Right hand touches left fist and come back. Step out right, kick the heels out. Let's do an upper block. I'm going to go deeper in my stance because I feel like that's too shallow. I should be pushing harder. inward block, extended outward block, and downward block. Other side. Upward block, inward block, outward and extended outward block, and downward block. Bring that back. I want to go ahead and add the whole next section of the form. You already know it because it's all of that just on both sides at the same time. So you do both hands upward block, both hands inward block, both hands extended outward block, both hands downward block, and back, and up. That is most of the star blocks form. Let's do it again. And 3. Right hand touches left palm. Step out. Sink down into your horse. Upward block. Inward block. Outward block. Extended outward. And downward. Other side. Upward block. Inward block. Outward block to extended outward block and downward block. Both sides, upward, inward, outward to extended outward and downward. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer them. You can talk on a live chat or you can email me at arkansaswushu@gmail.com. So we've done all of our blocks. We've done 2 kicks. Let's go ahead and do one more kick. And then we're going to learn at least one Chuan Fa Kenpo self-defense technique. All right, so the next kick I want to teach you is the roundhouse kick. It's pretty simple, but let's go ahead and grab something for balance, chair, wall, whatever you want to use. I'm just going to use an arm here. So for the roundhouse kick, we're going to bring the leg straight up, and then we're going to turn it like we're setting it up on a table. We're setting it up sideways on something. As we turn that leg over, this back leg is going to spin and turn around. All right, so we still want to keep pretty much everything fairly lined up here, or as lined up as we can. After we turn sideways like that, we would generally throw the kick out like a leg extension and then bring it down. So, right, the kick would be right there and back. We're on the other side. Knee up, knee sideways, kick, set down. It's kind of hard to throw that real slow, so we're not going to do it by the step. We're going to go ahead and throw it all at once. Mostly I want you to work on getting that leg parallel at the end and getting it back without falling over. Try not to stumble, fall, anything like that. I like to use a modified side horse myself whenever I throw this kick. It seems to make it nice and easy. You can bring it up from the side, turn it over, and let that come around as you kick. Okay, let's throw 10 roundhouse kicks. 1. And I'll try to throw them slow. At first, it's also going to help you to pull towards your hip as you kick. It's kind of controversial. A lot of people say, well, that's training to drop your hands. And I used to agree, but whenever you throw that, they're generally, your hand's out like a jab anyway, so it's going to catch them coming in. And if you do happen to step into a hit, you're going to be stepping into bringing that arm up. So you're really not off guard for that long. And a lot of people use that hand as they kick to actually post on the shoulder or grab the arm anyways. So you may have something trapped. So if just dropping the hand bothers you, think of grabbing the hand and pulling the arm down as you kick so that it has more of a fighting principle for you. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Other side. Same kick. 1. Find yourself a little off balance. You may need to go a little wider in your stance. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that gives us a roundhouse kick. Let's go into, let's do one practice for it. Just to make you a little bit better at it, find a wall or something to balance on. Like I said, bring your heel up, keep your heel in line with your shoulders, that straight, and try to bring that to where it is parallel, like it's sitting up on something. If you can't do it, that's fine. You can have a little bit of an angle and kick down. But if you can get it parallel, that would be preferable. So I want to come here, line that up, I want to extend it out, and bring it back. Keep the heel in line with the butt and the shoulders. I want to do that 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And down. Other leg, same kick. Or same drill. I'm going to use this so that I can't lean as heavily against it. And line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that's a drill you can use to get a little better at that kick and get a little more control. Okay, so let's learn a self-defense technique with some of this stuff that we've used here. We only need 1 or 2 more things for the first self-defense techniques that I learned in Chuan Fa. And if you want to see the curriculum, you can find this on arkansaswushu.com. Just click on the Styles tab, click Chuan Fa, and click Yellow Belt, and you'll see the list typed up. There's probably videos on how to do a lot of it. I don't think I have videos on all of it. I've still got to work on that. Anyways, moving on, our first self-defense technique, we're going to trap, step back, and do an upper block. Now, we're not going to be able to bring that upper block all the way up because this is off of a lapel grab or a kimono grab pushing in. So as they push in, we step back kind of into that soft bow stance and trap their arm. It's going to be a little bit different than soft bow because we're going to straight leg it and dig down as we do it and drop downwards. This way, as they're pushing in, when you grab their hand and pull down, it's going to pull them forward, which is going to pull them slightly off balance, making it easier for you to get your next strike in. So after you trap, you step back, you drop, we do that upper block, but you have both their hands, so you're hitting directly behind the elbows, trying your best to break the arms. You may or you may not, but you should be able to make it hurt quite a bit. So you've trapped, step back, and hit the elbow joints of both hands. But you still got them trapped, so they can't go anywhere. Well, from there, I like to do a wide circle here, but the idea is just to bring the hand up to the ear. I've done so much Kung Fu that that circle feels smoother, but there's nothing wrong with coming straight to the ear. You're going to do an inward block. With this inward block, we're going to modify ever so slightly. We want to come down at a 45 because we've already got them moving in a downward direction. So when we hit down, while they're already moving down, what's going to happen? It's going to hit their arm. And if you're familiar with the sticky fingers principle, if something hits and slides, it's going to stick. It's going to stick and it's going to pull. So that's going to pull their head down even further. All right, as their head's being pulled down, we just turn that into a knife hand. Excuse me. Basically, tense these muscles up, make a solid edge, and hit back to the throat. So let's do that in a couple of steps, and then we'll add to it. So we're going to trap, step back and do that upward block. So I like to circle around, but you can go straight to your ear. Do an inward block, coming down at a slight angle, and chop back, and see how that moves me between my soft bow to my modified horse, and then I'm back to that hard bow is what that's called when I straighten that leg back out. A lot of times hard bow is more straight line, but sometimes it does get a little further out. We're going to pull this leg back to the cat stance and throw that snap kick. Cat stance we did an intro, just all your weight on the back of the foot. Sorry, back leg. No weight on the front leg. So let's do that 10 times. This technique is called kimono grab. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water. Coughing for some reason. All right. So these first 3 steps all kind of happen at the same time. You trap as you're stepping back, sinking the stance. From there, upper block. Round, inward block, knife edge, drag this foot back, put all the weight on your back leg, lift the knee up, snap kick. And that's again the self-defense technique. So you hopefully broken 1 or 2 arms, if not at least hurt them. And got the arms out of the way, hit them in the throat, and hit them in the groin, and created a little bit of space in case that didn't finish. All right. 2, trap, break, inward block, chop, cat back, kick. And I like to always push forward off that front hand. 3, trap, step back and break, come around, downward block, knife edge, snap back, front snap kick. 4, trap, step back, upper block, inward block, knife edge, front snap kick. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 6. Really focus on using those stances. Change heights, change directions, and build your power, because that's where all your strength's going to come from, is moving those hips. 6, block, inward block, knife hand, cat back, and kick. 7, trap, step back and break, inward block, knife hand, and snap kick. 8, trap, upper block, break, knife hand block, cat, snap kick. 9, trap, sink, upper block, inward block, knife hand block, cat back, snap kick. 9, I didn't move my hips on that one. That was bad. And 10. Okay, so that is the first self-defense technique in orange belt. So we're going to go back and do more yellow belt material. Let's do just our basic punches to get those out of the way. Real simple and a little extra practice in horse stance. So let's go down to horse stance and put our left hand out. Now we're going to start doing our punches solar plexus level. This is a flat punch, mid-level punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next, we're going to do the double punch, but we're going to change levels. So we're going to go low punch, middle punch. We're going to do that 5 times, and then we'll switch and do the other side. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Make sure you're pulling that backhand just as fast as you're throwing that hand out. If you're lacking in power, focusing on pulling that backhand back even faster can help you out sometimes because it'll increase how fast your hip turns and how fast you throw that punch. All right, so now we've done a low and a mid-level. We're going to add a high, which is nose level. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to go through all 10 of them this way. So let's go ahead and sink down into your horse stance. Our last punch is going to finish high, so that's where we'll start. 1, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so those are just our straight punches. It's also our single punch, our double punch, and our triple punch. Next, let's look at a forward punch and a reverse punch. So let's go back into our soft bow, kind of our boxing stance. Both feet forward, both knees bent. I like to have my back heel off the ground with my front heel down. Allows me to spring forward, spring back real easy. So I want to start off with a forward punch. Forward punch is a jab, or sometimes called a 1. All it means is a punch off the front leg. So our front leg is going to throw this jab. Now, when we do reverse punches in Chuan Fa or Kenpo, we like to bring the shoulders up and tuck the chin into the chest, because if we get hit in the chin, they call that the button, you get knocked out real easy. So by tucking that chin in and bringing those shoulders up, we keep it guarded a lot better. And plus, when we throw that punch, our shoulder will touch a cheek at the end, and we can look down the arm to know that that punch is complete. As we punch, we also turn and push off the foot to get our power into. Okay? So it comes from the foot, turning the hip, and throws the punch out, and we're throwing these at nose level. We'll drop down to 3 because we're getting low on time. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we've got a forward punch, we've got a reverse punch. Reverse punch means a punch off the back leg. Can also be called a cross, can also be called a 2 in boxing, like they say a 1-2 combination. They usually mean jab, cross, or forward punch, reverse punch, right? Okay, we're going to throw 3 of those. Same thing, chin down, you throw the punch, that shoulder could come up and hit the cheek. Whenever you're looking down the arm, that punch is complete. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides and do a forward punch. 1, 2, 3, and a reverse punch, or a 1-2 combination. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's most of our flat punches. You may also hear the word head high twisting punch. Just means it's come from head high and twisting as it punches. The focus there, because the only difference between it and a normal punch is turning for power. The head high twisting punch is trying to hit the body first and twist after it makes contact with the skin to get a bit of a ripping and a tearing effect as it hits and pushes through. All right. So after those punches, let's do a vertical punch. A vertical punch doesn't turn over at all. It stays straight up and down, right? It's vertical. We want to do it off the back leg. 1, 2, 3. Switch sides. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's do a quick breakdown of what you learned or should have learned in this class, just to kind of go over it again to help it stick. So we don't have time to go over other stuff. So you should have learned how to throw a side snap kick or a knife edge kick. You should have learned a horse stance, a side horse, a modified, a soft bow, and a bow stance. You should have learned your basic blocks and most of the star blocks form, which is the touch fist palm, come down, up, in, out, down. On the other side, both sides. That's all I taught today. There is just a little bit more to it. A front snap kick, a roundhouse kick, the self-defense technique kimono grab, your flat punches at all 3 levels, a forward punch, a reverse punch, a double punch, a triple punch, and a vertical punch. We have time for one more. Let's do a back fist punch. So real simple. We'll get into a comfortable fighting stance, kind of like a horse, but a high horse. We're just going to come out, hit with the back fist, and come back in. 3 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Other side. 1, 2, and 3. All right, since we're here, let's go ahead and bend that leg and stretch this side out. And then do it on the other side. Go back the other way, rocking back on the heel. And then the other side. Let's go as far as you can into a split stretch, just to hold it for a second. And come up into a horse stance and hold that for a second. Bring the legs together. Thank you guys for joining me. I see we had a couple of people all the way through. Really appreciate that. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you want to learn. I do try to cater my classes for the audience that is watching and participating. So if you send me an email or comment, let me know what you want to go over. I'll try to consider and design a class around it. Anyways, we'll go ahead and stop there for today. And don't know if I'll have a video coming out tomorrow or not, but I will be here Thursday to teach, and so we'll see. Let's go ahead and work on that closing a time or two to help you finish how to start and end all your classes. So we start with feet together, right hand up, left hand into a palm, step sideways with your right foot, bend this leg deep as you step out into a cat stance, pushing both hands out, grab, and pull back. Again, fist, open palm, step sideways, cat stance, push the knife edge and the fist out, tiger claw, pull back to the hips. One more time to close. 3, and that's it for today. Thank you. I'll see you Thursday.